Hey everyone, can you hear me okay? I hope so. I think the audio is good. Okay, so what I'll be doing today is reprocessing some data of the Pleiades, so of Messier 45. I've already stacked the data and I've actually processed it once. So let me show you what that looks like. I'm not exactly 100% happy with it. So here it is. I kind of wish I had taken a little bit more time and frame the image better because I don't particularly like it like this. There's too much cutoff on this part. And then some of the stars are a little bit bloated and too red and things like that. So I'm gonna try and fix those things today because hey Asteruse, how are you doing? Hopefully all is well. So, so I've got, I'm going to try and reprocess it. It's really hard. I'll show you why things turned out kind of poorly. I mean, it's not bad. I feel like I've got about 3-4 hours of data on it, which is from like a Bortle 5 zone, so it's not too bad. Things have been rough lately, but I'm doing fine. How about you? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm doing okay. I can't complain. Hope things get better. But hopefully we can, chill out and relax in the stream a bit, and we'll just, hang out a bit. So let's see. Okay. So yeah, so the stars are a little bit rough. The color maybe isn't 100% good, especially some of these redder stars. And I'll show you kind of like why this is the case. So if we look at Cyrillic, this is what I use to stack the software, or stack the images in, not the software. It's the software I use to stack the images. It's late at night for me. You can see I've got a lot of sessions, and usually I don't do sessions as much. But the reason I did sessions was because for some of my data, my gain was off. So I don't know the last time I did a stream, like I had to change the darks because like things were like kind of weird. It's because I took those darks at a gain of like 283 with my ASI 294mm Pro. And I had shot some images at that gain. Normally I have a gain at Unity gain, which is like 120. So the images are a little bit more noisy than they usually are. They're a little bit brighter than they normally are. And also some of the stars got a little bit, like saturated too quickly. So it kind of messes things up a little bit. So let me show you kind of what happened. So with some of the images, I took 60-second images, and I think these ones are like at that weird gain of 283. Actually, these ones might be at the regular gain of 120. And then for some of the sessions, I took 20-second images, trying to lower that. And that's because when I was taking images during the second night, my gain was at 283. So everything was getting like too bright. The stars were blowing out very quickly, and I didn't understand what was going on. And yeah, and the previous I think what happened was when I was doing the partial solar eclipse where I was at, I wanted the gain a bit brighter for the sun so I could more easily focus. I never changed it back. So So during that period, the gain was off, and so it like threw off my calibration of some of my images, and you'll see it in a previous live stream. So I have all of these different images, and here I took 30-second images because like the 20 seconds were too, I don't know, they were just a little bit too short, and it was dithering so much, and I just wanted to increase a little bit. So I've got like some images that gain 120 at like unity gain, and I got some images at 283, which is way too bright, and it kind of like messed things up. And then for like the blue filter that I have, I only have 2 sets of images, so I've got less data for that, which makes, I mean, it's okay, but it just makes that blue channel a little bit noisier. And then we can, okay, so we're gonna try and reprocess this and see what happens. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna bring this over because we don't need Cyrillic anymore, and I've already processed this once. So we're gonna try and kind of periodically look at this image and see what we don't like about it, and then try and fix it. I feel like that's a good way to go a lot of times, is to process your image multiple times, see what you do like, see what you don't like. I mean, it's not a horrible image. It just could be better. Could be better. Okay. Okay, let's get into this then. So let's open up Cyril and open up. We'll first start with the luminance channel. I think I'm going to process the luminance channel separately. Let's see here. Yeah, let's see. Yep, I'm going to process it separately because, and then I'll combine it with RGB later. So let's go ahead and do this. We'll open up in Cyril. You can see all the stars, like the Pleiades, the stars are just so bright. It's already clipped. So it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to actually like deal with. So we just do a auto stretch. You'll see what I mean. So we have the auto stretch. I mean, it doesn't look too bad. But let's go ahead and maybe crop it and then do a background extraction. I'm like in a Bortle 5 or 6 zone now. I used to be in like Bortle 7, and like it's so much better like in a Bortle 5 or 6 than a 7. And 7 is so much better than a 9 in all those. I'm fine with the star colors, but the data looks a bit green to me. Yeah, I think it does look a bit green to me too, and I think that's, I think you're right, Astro Use. I think it's like, the color could be a little bit tweaked. I like it a little bit more blue, and I agree with that. So we can try and do that too. So I'm going to go and crop it, and I want you to do it a background extraction. Let's see here. Could use Graxpert for this. I always say this, like Graxpert is probably better, but sometimes I'm lazy. I don't want to open it up, put everything through. Maybe one day I should do like a comparison video of this RBF method, which I think works fairly well, all said and done. Just gonna move some, oops. I'm gonna like get some anchor points there where it's darker. Corners. Like I use the RBF method, and I've used the new Graxpert method, and I don't know. Sometimes I can't tell a difference. Sometimes I can. That's the thing with neural networks, is sometimes you don't know exactly what they're doing, and sometimes it just like look really good. Okay, so let's try. Oh, wrong button. Let's do it again. It's late. I always do that. I'm like, generate. Yeah, that's the right button, but it's not. Okay. Let's get some sample points where there's less nebulosity. We'll compute the background. Yeah, I think it cleaned it up pretty well. Try a couple more over here. Yeah, and let's bring the smoothing down and see if it changes things a little bit. Yeah, I think it looks nice. I think it's good. I think we'll apply it. I mean, we can show the original image and see what happened. Yeah, that's the original. This is the new one. You can, I feel like it increases the contrast quite a bit. Original background extraction. Okay, go ahead and do apply. Okay, so I think what I want to do with the last time I ran this image, I stretched it a little bit beforehand, and then I removed the stars and I stretched it a little bit more. I think I'm going to try to not stretch it, but just remove the stars initially and then stretch it with without the stars, like totally independently. So we'll turn this auto stretch off. I'm gonna go to star processing, star net star removal, and this time we will pre-stretch the linear image, and we don't have to recompose it, but we might as well. Yeah, we might as well recompose it. And then we'll go ahead and execute. And it'll take, I don't know, 30 seconds to do. So we'll just wait for that. So has anybody, Astruse or anybody in the audience, have you guys been imaging lately? It's been really cloudy where I've been. And it's actually clear tonight, but the forecast was saying it was going to rain. And usually when it says it's going to rain, I don't image. It's I don't want to have to, I don't want to ruin my equipment. So, okay. So here we go. So we've got the star background. I mean, everything but the stars and then the stars. And let's see if we can, thing about this is like, probably need to update Serial to make it a better, but let's do the symmetry point there. We'll try it there at first, and we'll bring up the stretch intensity slider. And then does the new Serial, newest versions of Serial, does it have a way to like zoom in on the histogram? Does anybody know? I have to check that out because I'm running a little bit older version. You can say like 1.2.0, and it's probably like a beta release still, so there's probably some bugs in it, but it can't zoom in on the histogram. But let's go ahead and try this, and then we'll start stretching it. Okay. Oh yeah, here we go. We'll stretch it, and then it looks good for an initial stretch. I think it's good. I haven't done any astrophotography for 2 months so far. I've been focusing on other things. Yeah, astrophotography is one of those things sometimes you get busy with it and with other things, and you just got to take a break. And I totally get that. I've done that before too, where you just don't have time. And you have to be up all night, and if you have to work the next day, then it's hard. Okay, this is looking pretty good. Like, I don't even know if we have to stretch the stars at all, because some of them are so bright. Anyway, these ones are already clipped, so there's no going back if we start stretching those. So I'm going to go ahead and click apply. I'm going to bring the black point down, I think. Yeah, that looks good. Click apply again. Yeah, I should have definitely, the first time, I should have not stretched the stars at all. Yeah, sometimes you just have to take a break from it. Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. I mean, it's a hobby, right? You want to be enjoying it. And if you're like, feel like you're forcing yourself to do it, then it can get a little bit, I don't know what the word is, like, culty almost. Like I feel like I have to do it because something, and you end up kind of like burning yourself out on it. I think a lot of some other YouTubers have kind of burnt out and having to take a break too. You see that sometimes where they're like, you know, I'm gonna take a break, guys. I know Queev has done that once. So pacing is good. Pacing is good, and taking breaks are good. This is good. So I'm gonna click apply, and then we're gonna stretch it again. Ooh, we got to set a symmetry point. Where do we want to set it now? So the problem is I can't look at the logarithmic scale on this version of Cyril. Maybe in newer versions it has it. I have to, again, I need to update this, but let's see. Let's see, where do we want to increase the contrast the most? I would think somewhere here. We can try this. We'll try this as the symmetry point. And then I'm not going to change local stretch intensity too much. I'm just going to start doing the stretch factor. And yeah, it's starting to increase that contrast in those areas, which I think is good. Yeah, let's click apply, and then we'll try a little bit fainter area. So something in here, maybe like this is the symmetry point. We'll try this. Always center it. Let's try it again. Start to bring out the detail. Got some dust bunnies here that I didn't notice before. I think that has to do with all of my different gain settings that I had, which was, if that happens. Anyways, have you heard that Cyril's adding spectrophotometric color calibration? No, I have not. I have to look at that. I've not heard that. Sometimes I'm a little bit behind on all the news. But I think that would be really cool. We've got like some weird things happening with this star. Yeah, just blown out. So maybe we want to. Problem is that can't control the highlight protection point. So maybe let's bring down this just a tad. And try changing the symmetry point a little bit. Yeah, there we go. I think things are starting to kind of pop out a little bit more now, which is nice. Yeah, I have to, let me check that out. Let's see. Cyril. Yeah, the more stuff that they add to Cyril, the better, I feel like. Where did you hear that Astro use? Was that on their website? Let's look it up, so I can look it up. Let's see. It's probably in their news, right? So I don't see it there. Heard it from their Twitter. Oh, cool. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, it's Twitter is now X. I don't. It's weird. Okay, so let's see if we can see here. So here's Twitter. Let's see if I can. I have to check it out later. I have to check it out later. Okay, so I can't find it right now, but that's cool. All right. Okay, so we've got this going on, this weird star going on, which it's just a bright star, and it got yeah, clipped. The clipping and then sort of bleeding into other pixels and other things. It's not nice. Something weird happening here. I think, again, like, I think it's just because I had all these different gain settings on the camera, but it's just something, I don't know. It's fine. I think this luminance layer is better than the luminance layer that I did the processing the first time. So I kind of like it. I kind of like this here. Do we want to do any more stretching? Do we want to like try that as our symmetry point or something brighter? Just, sorry, I'm moving around a lot. Just nope, don't want to try it. Don't want to use that. Okay. I don't know. I feel like if I stretch it a little bit more, then we're gonna making things a little bit too noisy. So I tend to sometimes overstretch things. And this might already be overstretched. So, but yeah, I think we're gonna save this. So I'm gonna download this as a TIFF file. And then let's see, let me new folder here. Call it stream, and then we'll save it as a TIFF file. So l.tiff, and then save. And save it as 32-point floating point, and save it. Okay, now what we want to do is do the RGB, and we're going to do the RGB just exactly the same way, except we have to compose it. So RGB compositing, and then let me go ahead and put in the R, the G, and the B images. Okay, you can see that Cyril is updating the image already. All right. Here we go. So we have this. We've got all the images put in there. And see if we can auto stretch it just so we can see what's going on. A lot of green. So we'll probably want to like we could just keep it like this. We could also try and do adjust layer brightness or finalize color balance, or we do some sort of background neutralization. And that does an okay job, I think. So it's just to apply, and then oops, just close it. Close this. And I like, yeah, this looks good already. Like the stars are already better than the other image. In terms of their color, there's no like real weird red stars. And I think I just did something wrong in the previous image when I was calibrating the colors. But this looks a lot better, I think. So this is probably about an hour's worth of RGB data, maybe a little bit less, probably 20 minutes each filter. And so I'm going to go ahead and again crop this out, and we'll run a background extraction on it. So let's go ahead and crop it, and then do the same RBF type extraction. And we'll set some sample points around the image so it knows kind of where the background light pollution is, or the gradients are. And we'll not hit generate this time. Rather, we'll hit compute background. All right, let's check. We'll add dither, and then do it. Yeah, it works really well, surprisingly well. Okay, so let's just check, to sort of sanity check, looking at different different smoothing factors. I like that smoothing factor, I think, that first one. Yeah, this one's good. Something around here. 0.7 or so. Looks good. Yeah, I definitely like, what do you think, Aster, is about the color now? I think it looks a lot better than, I mean, let's go ahead and we can put it back in GIMP. Like, yeah, this is way too green. I totally agree with you. And it's like much more like what I think about when I see the Pleiades, you know, like this is what I see, you know, like this nice blue color. And then these stars, more natural colors, like having processed the Pleiades before and taken images of it before, like I'm used to these stars, these 3 stars being more of a yellowish color. And in the first processing of when I did it, like these are not, I mean, they're yellow, but like they're yellow, but they're kind of weird yellow. They're just not, they're not natural. They're too stretched. Okay. This is nice. This is, I think I like this. I like this a lot. This is a secret to processing. You know, you do it once, you mess up, you figure out what you don't like, and you try it again. I mean, I think I do that with most of my images. It's like I process it once and I like overstretch it, and I do something a little bit wrong, and when the final image is it's just not quite good. Like I don't know how to say it. Like I just don't process it very good the first time, and then I go back and I'm like, okay, yep, this is wrong. This is wrong. Let me see what I can do to make it better. And I think that's, you know, just life, you know, with anything. Like you're just gonna get things wrong sometimes, and that's okay. You just have to like learn from your mistakes and keep going, you know. Um, yeah, and it's okay to like make mistakes, you know, as long as you recognize them. And you know, there's a little bit of, I don't know what the word is, like there's got to be a little bit of self-awareness, you know, like no, like it's this idea that like no model is perfect in science, right? Like general relativity is not perfect. Like it can't predict things at the quantum level. You know, quantum mechanics is not perfect because they're just things that we don't know about it. You know, like no model, no matter how good it is perfect. And so the idea is like just to keep trying to make it better. Okay, sorry, going on little rants here. Okay, so I think what I want to do now is we'll turn it back to linear, and then actually, like I like the color of it. So let me do the auto stretch, but let's see if we like the photometric color calibration any better. We'll just try it. Might as well try it. So we'll try photometric color calibration. We're looking at M45. And then focal length is 480. Pixel size 4.63 for my scope. And we'll click OK and see if it works. Oh, I don't want to flip the image. Okay, it didn't flip it. No worries. Okay, so let's see. Do we like this color better? It should be better. It should be more calibrated. Can you eke out IC34049? I don't know if I can. Maybe with my luminance data I can. Let me see where that is. I've never heard of that one before. So eke out IC349. Let's see. Is that where, Rafa? What is that? I'm not sure exactly. Can you explain it more? I'm looking at a classification of it. Is it like a? I just did a Google search. I'm not familiar with the object. So the image below is a photograph of IC430. Is that right? 349. Sorry. Sorry. 349. A little bit dyslexic today or something. I don't know. Okay, let's see here. I see. Let's see. In the Pleiades cluster. Let's see here. If we can look at maybe it's something in the Afterburn has. That's something interesting that we can look at. Okay. Oh, I see. I see. Oh, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I have the resolution. So if I had a, and I'm, that's interesting. Let's see if we can. We'll try it. We'll try it. Let's see here. So I see what you mean right here. So the problem is my stars are a little bit blown out. Let's see here if we can figure out where it is on this image. So to Control Windows T to keep this on the top. And then let's see here. So I'm thinking it's this star here. No? Huh. I think I've just blown out the stars, and that's the problem. Is that the right star? So this star here is this one, right? And then across from it must be this one. So it's here? Or am I wrong? Yeah, I think it's this one. Let's see if we can do it in the luminance data. We'll see if, so this is just the RGB data. Maybe we can, when we combine it, we can see. So let's go ahead and bring it into, we can actually bring it into GIMP real quick. That's a really cool thing. Let's see. So bring the luminance data into GIMP. I'll move this out of the way. I'm not sure that I will be able to. I think it's just too blown out, and I'm not sure I have the resolution. Yeah, here's the one that was across from it. Yeah, I'm not sure I have the resolution for it. It's slightly visible on the RGB data, is it? Does this sit here? Let's see here. There we go. So that's it here. Yeah, I think it's, is that it right here? Is this what you're talking about? Blur X will bring it. Blur Exterminate will bring it. Yeah, it probably would bring it out. Probably here though. I think that's it. Yeah. Cool. That's really cool. Yeah, it's the I should retry this image with shorter exposure times. And maybe we could bring it out if this wasn't too clipped. But cool. That is really cool. It's awesome. Yeah, I never noticed that before. Wow, that's pretty cool. It's so cool. Maybe I should like get my my C8 out, my old C8 that I've been using for galaxies, and point it out there and see if we can do it. I think I'm going to have some clear nights coming up, and with the moon slowly rising later and later in each night, we might have some good chances to do it. That's pretty cool. Okay, so let's see. Where were we at? Okay, we're at photometric color calibration. Do we like this more than the original? So let's try it without the photometric color calibration. Yeah, I think I definitely like it with the photometric color calibration a little bit more. So I can get it at a 71. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm sure I'm sure you can. I think I just exposed this for too long, so I need to have shorter exposures, especially in the luminance data, there's, with the RGB filters, they block out kind of a third of the light, and so you really get a less exposed image with that. Whereas with the L filter, bring up GIMP again. Where is GIMP? Here it is. With the L filter, everything is just so much brighter. Huh. So I don't know. I don't know if it'll pop out or not. I doubt it. I don't know if it would even show up in there. I think just the star covers it up quite a bit. Okay. Yeah, but if we could get the C8 on it, we could zoom in pretty far, I think. The field of view would be probably something like this. Maybe bigger. I don't know. Maybe something like this. And then we'd have more resolution too. So I have to check in Stellarium what it'd be like. That's really cool. That's awesome. I didn't know that. Thanks. Thanks for like sharing that. That's really cool. Okay, so let's see. What do we need to do now? Okay, now we need to stretch it for real. So let's go ahead and do a linear, turn that back to a linear stretch. And yeah, let's go ahead and do another star net star removal, and we'll try that first, and we'll see what happens. Restretch it, recompose. Yeah, that's really cool. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Let's start stretching. We'll use this as our symmetry points first, something dark, increase the local stretch intensity, and then turn the stretch factor up. Yeah, here we go. We're starting to bring out some good detail. Does it get lost? I almost feel like, yeah, I think StarNet removes it too. I think it thinks it's like part of the star, so it removes it. You can see like this weird pixelation around the star, and I think that's StarNet just removing things. So maybe what we can do is maybe I'll go back to the original L data and stretch it normally, and then see if we can sort of bring it back in through in GIMP through different layers. So I don't know if I want to stretch it this much initially, something like that. And then start stretching a little bit more. So maybe that symmetry point. Yeah, we've lost it. See, we've lost it here. It's I think that's a StarNet thing. So try it again. Okay, we hit apply, maybe move the black point down a bit. Hit apply, and then all these stars are really blue. Like they turned blue or something. Hey, Dave. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. So we're, if you're just joining, so I previously, a couple of days ago, I processed the Pleiades, and I didn't like it too much. And what I was saying is, like, I generally like to process things a couple of times, like, to make things good. And like, so the first time I process it, I go through and I try and figure out what I don't like about it. So I don't quite like the stars. I think they're a little bit too blown out, and the color is a little bit too green. And Astriu's, pointed that out earlier in the video too, and I agree 100%. And some of the star color is also weird, like it's red, and I don't know. So we're going back and we're reprocessing things a second time. and we'll see what happens. Okay, so let's see. Let's go ahead and start stretching again. Yeah, I've got some dust spots, and if you're, yeah, I did use like different settings on my camera accidentally with different gain settings, and so I've got some weird things that didn't calibrate out in the image, which happens. So I had used the wrong gain setting. Yeah, let's see. Do we want to stretch the stars a little bit? Maybe. Maybe we do. Yeah, I feel like StarNet like killed the star color here from where it was. And no, I don't necessarily like it. So I'm gonna close this. I'm gonna see if I can just reopen the RGB composing, and we'll just redo it because like I don't even know if I need to like stretch it that much because it's just the color data. Go ahead and auto stretch it, and again, do this again. Oops. Neutralize the background. Oops. Close this, and then we will do the background extraction again for this because I don't know, StarNet kind of messed things up. Like there is some good star color here, like the yellows. I feel like the stars were kind of nice and yellow, and then it turned to blue. So okay, let's do background extraction again. Well, let me crop it first. Sorry, we'll crop it. Okay. And then I guess for this one, just do the generalized hyperbolic stretch transformation instead of removing the stars, because I like the stars that we had. And plus, is it IC 349? Is that what it is? Yeah. You could still see this part in there, and StarNet removed it. So okay. Could be background. We had this at 0.7, I think, in terms of smoothing. Yeah, I think it looks good. It's okay. And then we did the photometric color calibration again. So ooh. Oh no, what happened? M45? I guess I have to flip it. There we go. Didn't want to flip it. I did it the first time without flipping. So let's see if we can flip it again. Okay, geometry, flip. Horizontal, right? Nope. Vertical. It's so weird. Okay, is that right? I think that's right. That's the same orientation, I hope. Okay. We've got this. Let's go ahead and stretch it then. Let's go back to linear, and I think I might do an arc sine stretch first. Just a little bit of one, just to help preserve the star color, maybe. If we don't like that, we'll just undo it. So let's go ahead and generalize hyperbolic stretch transformation. Zoom all the way in. Pick a symmetry point somewhere there. Increase the stretch factor. And yeah, it's a good, I think a good first step. Click apply. Change the zoom back to 1. I'm going to change this to the logarithmic scale. I like the logarithmic scale because we can see kind of where we need to add the contrast. So maybe somewhere here. And start stretching it. Okay, we're darkening up the background, which is fine. I think the symmetry point might be a little bit too far to the right. Which was okay. I don't know. It's just the color channel, right? So we just need that the main thing that we want is the color. Go and apply it. Change the black point a little bit. I think we've got a nice, maybe it's stretched too much. Maybe it's my like eternal problem. It's like I stretch things way too much because I want to see all the detail and then the noise pops out too much. But let's go ahead and save it. I think we'll try and work with it. So let me go ahead and save it for the LRGB or the RGB. Save it as a TIFF file, 32 point loading point or whatever that is, and then we'll open it up in GIMP. Oh, one thing, let's see. Let's go ahead and open up the just the L again, and we'll see if we can find IC 349. Is that, am I saying it right? Let's go and do this. And we'll see if we can find it in the image without StarNet. Maybe, like, maybe, I don't know. It's too bright. Let's go back to linear. I mean, is this it? I mean, I think this is it, right? Like right here. Let's see if we can stretch it again with a generalized linear. We'll do a background extraction like we did before. And then we'll crop it and everything. We'll see if we can bring it back in. Doesn't seem too stretched to me. Yeah, it's I think it's good, especially for the color data. You know, we're going to be blurring that out quite a bit anyway, so it's not going to be too much of a problem. No luminance. Well, there is luminance data. There is luminance data, but I usually combine it in GIMP. Only RGB. So yeah, what I was just working on was just RGB, but there is luminance data, and we'll be combining in GIMP soon. So I could put it in, let Cyril do its thing, but and we could try and see what that looks like. I'm just used to like doing the RGB separate and then luminance data, and then combining them later because then I can kind of like try and denoise the RGB part of the image a little bit more. I feel like I have a little bit more control, but maybe it doesn't matter too much. It probably doesn't. Okay, so let's do the background extraction. Again, I know we're repeating everything 100 times. This is processing live. Okay, so let's compute the background. Bring the smoothing down. Looks good. Okay, let's turn this to linear. And then let's do, again, the generalized hyperbolic stretch transformation. Well, try not to stretch it too much. See if we can bring out that part of the nebulosity. So Symmetry point. Oh, don't want, no. Wrong stretch. Are we getting it? This is it, isn't it? Right here. That's pretty cool. So let's see if we can apply this and then keep stretching it, but like try and keep this highlight protection point down a little bit. So let's go logarithmic. We will bring the black point down a little bit, make sure we're not clipping anything. Checking here. Nothing is clipped, which is good. Hey, Mr. Volcanoes. Tired and failed to work on my first mosaic on M45. Oh no. Well, what exactly went wrong? Do you know? Was it combining the actual individual images that went wrong, or was it something else? I think the largest mosaic I did was like 27 panel mosaic of the Heart Nebula back when I had a very small sensor, and I was like, okay, I bet I could shoot this with my RC. You know, that's like 1300 millimeter focal length. Clouds are not enough of that to combine on. Oh no, yeah, that's great. That's yeah, it's disappointing. I feel like everybody, at least, there's been so many clouds lately where I'm at. I think it must be like some El Nino thing where everybody's getting clouds now. So, okay, so let's see. Still in logarithmic scale. So let's right here as our symmetry point and keep this part visible. Yeah, it's going to be difficult to bring this out, I think, but we'll try. Terrible in Florida. Yeah. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now too. It's just been horrible. Just horrible. Actually, where I'm at now is it's clear tonight, I think. Or it was clear for a couple hours, but like the forecast is rain, and I didn't want to risk setting up and then having to take everything down. Okay, so I know this is a really bad stretch. Like all the stars are kind of gross, but I think we've got that nebulosity in there. So we're going to keep that, and we'll see if we can feather that into the image later on. Got back to Cyprus yesterday, heavy rain yesterday evening, and more rain again this morning. Not even bothered going near the observatory yet. Yeah, somebody's been buying a lot of astronomy equipment, I think. making the weather all around the world just no fun. So this is what happens. Okay, so we're gonna save this. And I'm gonna save this one as like, let's see, what should I save it as? Okay. Again, as a TIFF file. So I see, what was it called? Was it 349? Was that it? Okay, so here's the first time I did it a couple of days ago, not on stream, not on anything, just sort of by myself. And here's the new luminance data that I have. And let's see if we can go ahead and bring in that image of with IC 349 in it. We'll see if we can like make it pop out a little bit. Okay. So this is IC 349, right? Which is kind of cool. And we will add a layer mask. Okay. And then we will start to feather it in. I don't know what to call it. Feather it in, start to like bring it out a little bit. Change the brush type. softer brush. Size down. Oh, it would be good if I aligned the image, wouldn't it? Because they're not aligned. Let's do that first. Okay, here we go. Zoom in, use the arrow keys. Think back and forth. So bright. Darker part of the image. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Okay. You can see it popping through here. And we'll see if we can paint this in a little bit. There it is. Okay, so of course we don't want this this horrible, ugly donut around the star. So let's see if we can get this the same brightness. And then we will blur the actual mask. So I'm going to click on not the mask, but I'm going to click on the layer and we're going to stretch it a little bit. See if we can get it stretched to where it looks good and it blends in together. Like stretch it too much and it's hard to get it. So maybe we can make a selection. I don't know if this is even a good idea. Let's do a selection of the star. Lips. Select the star. And we will, what do we want to do? We want to feather the edges a little bit. I think maybe like 1 pixel, 1.5 pixels, not 92. And then select and go invert. So let me go press enter. So we have, let's enter, we have the selection here. Let's select and invert it. Okay, and then now we should be able to stretch everything but the star. So let's colors, levels, and stretch it. I don't know if this will work or not. Just trying it out. Oh man, it's gonna blow it out. Yeah, I don't know if we can do it. Something I have to try later on when I have more time. Is to try and bring that in, but it's really cool that we got it. Let's see. Oh, cool. 150 side by side. That's pretty cool. So what mount is that? Rafa. Let's see, if you're close to Sarasota, let me apologize in advance. Just received a, okay, nice. Still not great. Yeah, it's your fault. Thanks. I'm just kidding. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm just catching up on chat here. So Southern Cal, you think I'd have some of the best skies, but even in a crystal clear day, during the day, clouds just barely in as soon as it's like, oh no. Tried to hit up Jupiter, clouds came in. Oh man. Yeah, Jupiter should be something that's possible, I think. Even sometimes with clouds, but maybe not. But like, it's definitely, you think you can get these planets even with the clouds, and then they just kind of roll in and mess things up. You're like, oh, I can shoot the planet in between, in between the holes in the clouds, but I don't know, it's hard. Foggy and cloudy here most of the time. Yeah, that's no fun. Everywhere is just bad weather. Okay, so we've got the luminance. Let me go ahead and change the image mode to color, and we'll bring in the color channel. So do the RGB, and then Let's do, oops, open as layers, and we'll do the RGB. Okay, here it is. All right, so let's go ahead and align it. It's not aligned anymore. Okay, click on a layer, press M for move. Looks pretty good. Zoom out. Yeah, looks aligned. Okay. Let's see. Dave says, Rafa, my first priority this year is to sort out the dreaded rings on my Rasa 11. Been putting it off for months. Didn't want to mess with this up. Yeah. So Dave, you have a Rasa 11. What happens with the rings? Like, what's the what exactly is the problem? If you don't mind sharing. Let's see. I'm going to go and select this, and then crop it. Image crop selection, and then we should be good. We can change this mode to LCH RGB. It's due to internal reflections from the UFC filter system. Ah, gotcha. Okay, so we've changed that to color, and we've got a lot of star like color around the rings of some of the stars. So maybe we want to, I mean, the color looks nice. There's like still some rings around here. So maybe what we want to do is apply a mask to this, or we could just darken it up or whatever. Let's see. Let's just try different things. We'll try different things. I feel it doesn't look quite as natural anymore though. But bring that curve in. Yeah, we've got like weird things going on with StarNet plus like to like just weird things. Okay, so that's a, let's see. Sorry if you mentioned this earlier in the stream. How long was the integration time for this and what portal zone? So it's about, I would say I have like 3 hours of luminance and 1 hour of RGB, and it's like a Bortle 5 or 6 zone. So it's not like, it's not terrible data. It's okay data. Like if I was where I used to live, like I would not be getting this good of data. Of course, it's not like Bortle 1 or anything, but it's still fine. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this luminance here. We're going to make it a star mask for the color. So let's add a layer mask. And then, yeah, I switched from the ZWO filter extensions to the UFC to get rid of the heavy corner and edge vignetting, and this is when they disappeared. Sublength, yeah, sublength is a little bit tricky. So I had, so there's a long story that goes with this. So I think in the middle of when I was imaging this, like the partial solar eclipse happened in the US, like where I'm at, and I changed my gain setting to like 283 from 121 just so I could focus the sun a little bit better, and I never changed it back. And so before the eclipse happened, I was imaging M45 at like 60 seconds each at the gain 120, which is unity gain for my camera. And then after that, not knowing what I had done, I was imaging at 283 gain, and suddenly these minute-long exposures were giving me like super bright stars, and everything was just clipped. And so I didn't know what was happening, so I changed it to like 20 seconds. And then after that, I even changed it to like 30 seconds. So it's a combination of like 60 seconds exposures at unity gain, and then 20 and 30-second exposures at gain of 283, which was sort of a mess of me figuring out like why aren't my darks calibrating out correctly and things like that. So yeah, that's the sub length. Okay, so I'm gonna take this luminance layer because it's got, you know, all this cool information about the star sizes. We're gonna copy this and put it into the layer mask. Copy it and then anchor the layer. Okay, and now all the color is gone, which is what we kind of expect. But now, like, we shouldn't have so much of that everything bleeding out, I hope. So if we stretch this layer mask a little bit, we should start to bring in some of the color without, having these really weird rings around some of the stars. We're still getting some of them, so maybe I'm stretching a little bit too much. And I think some of the rings are due to StarNet++ kind of being weird. If I turn this layer off, for example, you can still see that there's like this really kind of weird halo here. So I don't know. Let's see, gosh, my driveway is Bortle 8 or 9. But I try to go out to Death Valley at least once a year. That seems like a good place to image. Have you ever Death Valley's pretty low, right? Is that what's the elevation of Death Valley? Like, is that pretty low? Do you ever go out to like the mountains, like up, or is it still pretty high in terms of like altitude? Oh, for the whole park. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I was, yeah. Yeah, there's low parts. Yeah, that's pretty cool. One day I would like to go out to somewhere like, I don't know, Bryce Canyon or something with my setup. Like up in the mountains in the middle of nowhere. Just nice. Okay, so let's see. We bring it back into color. Oh, so we could try. Oops. We could try to brighten up the stars a little bit. We wanted to. Let's see. Do lighten only. And then we could bring this opacity down. And that way we would have some of the more natural stars that StarNet++ kind of like I got rid of, but I don't know if that will work. I'm not sure. It's famous for having the lowest point in the US, but I head up to the northern end and there's several easily accessible spots that are edging at Bortle 1 at 5,000 feet elevation. Yeah, that seems like perfect. Perfect like imaging, little atmosphere and just pretty cool. That's cool. Let's see if that makes the stars look any better. Okay, so what I'm doing is just using that other stretched image of we're trying to like blend in IC 349 and it didn't work. Seeing I can blend this in to make the stars look a little bit better here. And I don't think it is. I don't think it's I don't know. It's getting this weird. As far as planetary, we have the top viewing in the US here in Central to South Florida. Yeah. Yeah, except for the seeing. I think the seeing can be, I guess sometimes you can get a pretty good seeing. I agree. Yeah. Like it's the planets are very high up, I think. But yeah. I think sometimes the humidity can throw things off. But I've definitely gotten some good planetary images in Florida, where I'm at. Yeah, Central Florida, especially like in the fall and the winter. Sometimes, I guess even in the summer. In the summer, sometimes it can be good. Just depends. Okay, let's see. So we've got this. Let's see if we can stretch it a little bit. Bring out the color. See, Peach just came out with an article talking about that. Oh, really? Cool. So, check it out. Yeah, I know when I was in Maryland, I didn't get nearly as good planetary images. The planets were just lower in the sky. So, let's see here. Hmm. Yeah, we're getting these weird halo effects around the stars. Now, don't particularly like it. Like we could blur it out. We could like blur out the jet stream. Yeah, the jet stream. Let's see here. Bring up the levels a little more. If this doesn't work, maybe we can try putting everything in to Serial and having like with a luminance layer. But okay. Yeah, it doesn't you can get very like foggy nights in Florida where it like especially I feel like it's like spring and fall you can get really just super foggy nights where the air is really still. Um and then plus the fact that right now like in Florida the way that the planets are kind of positioned relative to the Earth, like they're just higher in the sky than other places up north. So you can get pretty good images. It's just um, I've always sort of thought that like up in the mountains, maybe you would get better images. But if what you're saying, Rafa, is true, like with the jet stream causing tons of problems, I could see how that could also like mess up seeing quite a bit. So so yeah, and generally like when things are very still and there's like a lot of fog, sometimes it's really good for planetary imaging. I don't know why that is. But okay, so let's see. This image, um I think it's okay, but again, like just the weird halos around the stars. I don't like it. It's because we had to stretch it. We stretch it like differently. So I don't know. Let's see. But I mean, I compared to this image, let's just compare the two real quick. Rafa, what do you think about when the best time to image planets is in Florida? The last time I did it, let me see if I have that image up. Like I processed Jupiter. I got some really good data. I was surprised with it. Let's see if I got on my Discord. I think I put it up. Somewhere here. I think I may have. Yeah, here we go. Let's take one to C8. So, and I think that's really good for the Barlow lens I was using, which is not a very high quality Barlow lens. But it's, I mean, I think that's the best image I've ever taken. And that was in Florida over the summer. It was just great. Like I was super happy with it. And then I also was able to get an animation of it. I know it's not the best. Definitely not the best, but the image with the equipment that I had. Like I know other people could do a lot better with that equipment. Let's see, where's everything? But I was able to get the rotation of it. So, let's see, it's not wanting. Get the rotation to pop up. Nope. It's not wanting to do it. So I don't know. It did have a rotation. As for features, the humidity and jet stream staying north, that helps us out. He goes to Barbados to collect his data. Oh, cool. Yeah, thanks, AstroUse. I think it's looking better. So if we compare it to the first image, like it's definitely not as like messy looking. Like this is, it feels like the way I describe it is kind of like muddy. You know, like the background is a bit muddy, the stars a little bit kind of like muddy. I don't know another better word, and the color is not quite as good. Here the stars are smaller. The color is better, but maybe the stars need to be stretched a little bit more. So do I have? Can I do that here? Can I get a? Did I save the star mask? I don't know if I did save the star mask. Let's see. I do have a star mask for that. Let's see if I can bring this in. Let's see. I'll open its layers. Maybe we can play with the luminance of the star mask to like make things better. Starless. Oh. No, not the starless. We want the stars, right? Star mask L. There we go. I have to align things again. Okay. Right. Bring this down. Change it to like light and only. And then we'll see if there's any difference. We see if we can stretch the stars a little bit more. Let's see, why is this not? There we go. Perfect. Okay. So maybe if we stretch the stars a little bit more, like these halos won't stand out as much. We could also blur this some. So if we blur colors, or let's see, filters blur, Gaussian blur. Maybe it would get rid of some of it. But then we'd also get rid of some of the star colors too. But yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Let's go ahead and stretch the stars. I know it's weird. I just don't like the star, all these halos around it. Meh. Eh. I don't know. It kind of makes it a little bit. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think about the bigger stars? Stretch it. I guess I should blink it on and off. It makes the halos less noticeable, but it's kind of weird. So see, this is where I would be like, okay, I processed it twice. Now I need to process it that third time. And usually the third time you start to get like even better. Like I like this image much more than I like this image, right? Like the color is better, the stars are better. But still there's like these halos around things. And so because of that, maybe I would process things a little bit differently. I don't know. Let's do a poll about it. Maybe we can do a poll. So the contrast is good, but the star doesn't have a lot of saturation, in my opinion. Yeah. Let's see here. I think compared to just the RGB image, if we were just going to turn this to normal, like, and get rid of the layer mask, disable it for a second. Oops. Oh, we blurred the heck out of it, didn't we? We blurred the heck out of this thing. So, yeah. So we could try to. Are you talking about the color saturation, right? Aster use. I kind of agree with you. Like the original RGB image, just the RGB without the luminance, I like this star color a lot more. So, I mean, we could increase the saturation quite a bit, for example. And we would get that nice star color, but then the nebula kind of gets a little bit too blue. Although, I mean, increased saturation isn't horrible. I don't know. What do you guys think? It's nice to get a second opinion on some of these things sometimes. Split the view. We can. I don't know. Increased saturation. I don't know. Let me see. Let me just say. Let's see. Sorry. Let's add a poll. I'm starting to get tired, so I can't think very well. Let's see. Do you like a bit too saturated? Yeah. Kind of agree with that. So yes, no, we'll add an option. Try the middle. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so there's a new poll up. So if we maybe turn this down a little bit. Try the middle. Yeah, one vote. Something like this. We can zoom in. Yeah, I don't like those halos. Yeah, I kind of like that too. Let's go ahead and we can check it. We can check what before and after looks like. This is before. Take a second. Yeah, I agree. I think I like a little bit more saturation. Now these stars, layer crop to selection, or layer to image size, and then these stars are, I don't know, a little bit too Too big, too bright. Yeah, I think this looks nice. I think it's starting to come together. Definitely like it with the stars, like with the smaller stars in there, though. I think look more than I like it this way better than this way. Like, I don't think there's enough stars going on. I think like that is better, but I think the stars need to be controlled a little bit more. So I don't know if this will help. Maybe a little bit. I don't know, it's starting to look okay. And it's not like the best data. I messed up on the exposure times and everything, but I think it's okay. It's not too bad. It's a good second try. I need a good third try too. So compared to this one, I think this one definitely is a lot superior, like just a superior image processing. Let's see if we can maybe get rid of some of that star color in the background. Through the mask. Okay. Yeah, like this is weird. This is weird. Don't like it. But we will create a new from visible, and then we'll try and export this as a TIFF. And then we'll put it through Astro Sharpen, Astro Clean, I guess. And we'll say it's a good second try and it needs a good third try. It's an improvement from the last time. So let me go ahead and copy all of this. Paste it. We'll anchor it and then flatten it, and we'll bring it into Astro Sharpen and see what we can do with it. I mean, if you don't zoom in too much, you don't see those halos, but I don't know. I still don't want to see them. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna name it, export it, and then Astro Sharpen. See what we can do. Okay. Give it a second. Let me browse for the file. And find the image I just saved. All right, we'll see what happens. Okay, here we go. I'm going to change to the dual PSF model because then we can control the stars separately. And let me go and find a good place to do this. Yeah, I don't think that the image actually needs too much sharpening. I was looking at the PSF of the previous image, or the time I processed this image the first time, and I would say like it doesn't need. I definitely over sharpened it the first time I did it, so I don't want to do that again. So I'm going to make the stars like, I'm going to sharpen the stars just a little bit, and the DSO maybe just a little bit, and we'll see what happens. We'll zoom around a little bit on the image in AstroSharp. Okay. So it looks like the stars are a little bit smaller, which is always good. It might be a little bit, I don't know. Even the nebula might be a little bit too sharp with that. There's a lot of dark areas in the image with low SNR. And sometimes when you sharpen those areas, it just doesn't look good sharpened. Yeah, like this looks okay. It looks a little bit more sharp. We can bring that up a little bit. Yeah, I think that's good. Now I've seen some people use Astro Clean and then Astro Sharp. Has anybody done that? Has anybody like used Astro Clean first and then Astro Sharp, where like they clean up the image and then they resharpen it? I've never tried it that way actually, and it might be like a valid way of doing things. I've always thought that you want to like denoise things as the last thing you do, because when you denoise things, you lose some data. So I don't know. If anybody's tried that before. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I think these settings are fine. Just run the full image, and then we'll just wait a couple minutes for it to